People who are creative, they can't stop creating. I've just always wanted to tell stories. So that's why I think it's always followed me. And I've always had a great imagination. Like when I was a kid, I would always play by myself and make up stuff and make up stories. And so I think the imagination part of it was always really prevalent for me. Hi, I'm Jeff Shear. I'm a freelance costume designer. I have a BA in theater and public communications. In high school, I was in theater. We had a really great theater program where I went to high school. You know, we had a big musical every year and several smaller shows, and I was always involved in all of that. I remember being in college, and I was performing and dancing, and I took a costume design class, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. And so I kept spending time in the costume shop and learning things and helping with stuff. And I kind of just fell into it. I was pretty good at it. I took to it easily. And so I've just always fallen into those jobs. I didn't really ever make the choice. It just happened. I was lucky enough to get a job right out of school and have worked ever since. I freelanced for a year. I worked for amusement parks for years. Then I freelanced for those amusement parks for years. And then I was a costume shop manager at NKU. And then I was the resident costume designer at the Children's Theater of Cincinnati. And now I'm back to freelancing. A really important thing for young performers and designers is to learn how to not take things personally. Because as artists, we're very sensitive. And that's good, because that's how we can create our art. But we also have to learn how to not take it personally when someone criticizes or asks for something different. And it's a very hard trait to learn, but it's very important, because if someone says to me, hey Jeff, I don't like that costume, they're saying, maybe that costume's not quite right for this character or whatever. They're not saying, Jeff, I don't like you. And that's a very hard thing for artists to hear, because we don't hear it right. We're not hearing what they're saying. They're just saying they don't like that skirt on that actor. It's really about relationship and experience for me, and not so much the show, because it could have been like not my favorite show in the world, like maybe I don't like the music or whatever, but it's always been, it's the experience for me of creating the art with other people, which with theater is very collaborative, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy other people having ideas and then going off of their ideas and me giving them ideas, and then they go off of mine, you know, I really like that. And I think that's how you get a good product in the end. Talking to the director and the other designers, like what do we want this to look like? What do we want this, for me, often it's how do we want this to feel? Because that's what costume design is. As soon as that person walks on stage, you need to tell a story about them, because you need to tell their background, their class, their personality, and it still needs to look good because you're making a picture with all the other people and the set and the lights. And so it still needs to have a look. For me, the process is kind of like a puzzle. Finding all the pieces and getting them to fit right. There's so many skills you can have that will benefit you, from drawing, construction, patterning skills, graphic design, that helps. There's millinery skills, where like learn to make hats. There's craft skills, where you learn how to make leather belts, and then you can always go into like wig and makeup stuff. So the more and you don't have to be excellent at all of that, but you should know a little bit about all of it. It helps you communicate if I'm the costume designer and I hire a wig designer, it helps to know some of their language, to communicate to them, like what you're thinking or for that character. And it helps for communicating. You'll find designers that you gravitate to, because everybody's got a little bit of a different style, or someone else's style speaks to them in a way. And that doesn't mean that you design like them. That just means you appreciate their work. And I think the more work you can look at and appreciate in different ways, the better off you are in the end, because it just opens your mind to other options. When you come to a project that might be something a little outside your wheelhouse, you can look at it and go, oh, I can approach it this direction, like this designer, or this artist, or this whatever it is. The inspiration can come from many, many different places. So my other tip is, and this is for everybody in theater, to sit quietly and observe other people. And it's helpful for actors, obviously. You never know when you're going to have to play that kind of character. For costume design, you never know when you're going to have to costume that character. So sometimes just walking around like a campus or a busy area or downtown and just observing what people are wearing. As theater artists, observing is just a good skill to have